Hello everybody. Today we are going to be putting on these LaRosa saddlebags. Some saddlebags had caught my eye for some time and I was kind of going back and forth on should I put saddlebags on the Scout, should I not, do I really need them? Because I got the sissy bar, I got my backpack over there, and you know, for sake of convenience and space, I thought, yeah, you know, it might be a good idea. And I saw these and I thought they looked really good for their price. And the black and white obviously goes really well with the theme of the Scout that we have going on. So I thought, you know what, let's give them a shot. Big thank you to Tiny Tater for getting these for me on our anniversary that's coming up. So this is her anniversary present to me. So thank you very much, Tiny Tater. All right, and so with that, let's get these on. And there we go. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. All right, so the first thing we got to do is take off the seat and the passenger pillion to give ourselves space to work with. So obviously this is not the stock seat. So the way you take off the stock seat is you undo the two bolts that will be back here. I have a Corbin seat that I love very much. It comes with a nice little key. So you just take it off like that. And then for the passenger pillion, I've already taken off the screws. So you'll find there's gonna be one here and one in the back. And those are pretty easy to take off. Then the next thing we're gonna do is grab our bags and we gotta do some measurements. So these are slanted. So you want the flat side to be facing forward. I have seen some other people do it where they actually do it reverse, where the slant will face forward. And on some bikes, it looks kind of cool. It also really depends on the bag. Sometimes it looks pretty cool. This time it doesn't. It looks pretty wonky. So we'll have to figure out some of our mounting points for this. So the passenger pillion is going to pretty much do a good job of holding it on. But we want to first just throw over the saddlebags. And these did not come with any mounting brackets or anything like that. I don't think I really need them for this. But time may tell, because we already have the sissy bar, and the brackets may help support the bag, but these are soft back. So it's all just plain leather. I don't know if we may or may not need a supporting bracket down the line, but for the time being, we'll work without it. So we've thrown over the saddlebags. A couple things that we have to check for are the clearance. So we obviously need to be careful about the heat from the exhaust. Obviously you don't want anything touching the exhaust, and we don't want the leather to be too close to where it could overheat and burn. In my previous bike, the Honda Shadow RS, it did come with some really bad saddlebags, and the bottom was like a faux leather, and it actually melted onto the saddlebag, and it actually had way more clearance than this. And I want to say it had at least 2 or 3 inches of worth, and yet it still melted onto the saddlebag, or it melted onto the exhaust. So just be careful of that, be wary of that. You do want at least a couple of inches, and this is just straight leather, so I don't have to worry about it melting or anything like that. But I am going to raise these up just a bit to give ourselves a little bit more clearance. So I've already taken 2 of the straps off to tie it down. So you can undo this middle one, and that's gonna be 2 separate pieces, and then you just overlay, you'll just overlay the holes and then rebind everything back up. The next thing that we're gonna want to figure out is how are we also going to mount these saddlebags to the bike. You'll see here there are 3 mounting points that we can use, and it's just a leather strap that goes on the inside. This middle and bottom piece will not really attach to anything on the bike on either side. So the only thing we can do is use this one in this top corner, and I'm just gonna feed it right through the gap here on the sissy bar, and that will be our single mounting point on the bike. So all in all, not really an ideal scenario. Again, these are universal bags. These are not bags made specifically for the Scout. I did contact LaRosa and they said you just have to go with the universal ones, though I have seen some other people with LaRosa bags that also have a Scout, but were made for like Triumph bikes. I didn't want to gamble and see if those bags would work with the Scout, but I have seen other bags used with other Scouts. So you can keep that in mind if you don't really particularly like the universal style, or if you want something that may fit a little bit better, I should say. We know where we're going to mount. We know we're going to check for clearance, and we're going to tighten these up just a little bit more so they're a little bit higher up. And what we can even do is put the passenger pillion back on. And you can see we do have a little bit of space here. It's not, if the bag's up a little bit more, it's probably going to sit right about here. I think that's going to be perfectly fine for Tiny Tater. I don't think her legs are really going to hit the saddlebags at all. And that looks a little bit neater too. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let's finish up untying this wrap. And then, so I'm gonna untie this wrap, move it up, tie it all back together, and go from there. To retie this, essentially, you're just gonna do an over-under method. So if one strap comes out here, goes down through here, and then you'll run it under the bottom, comes up through this point, over, so on and so forth. And you do that for both ends, and then you should end up with a very neat and tidy tie like this. And then you just do a simple bow tie like how you tie your shoes on the bottom, and that should be more than enough to keep everything secured. So with that, we'll see you back here once all of these are done, everything's tightened up, and then we will go ahead and start mounting through the sides. See y'all in a bit. All right, welcome back. We tightened down one section. So I took all of them out, rebound all of them together, and I think we have enough clearance. So we definitely have probably a couple of inches there. And let's check the other side. Yeah, nothing that we're really too worried, because we got the belt guard here to kind of protect the bags. So all in all, pretty good looking. So with that, the next thing we gotta do is pull out the leather strap on the back and make sure that we have tied down the saddlebags to the bike itself. Let's go ahead and do these. Okay, let's see if this will fit. Oh, it does fit, perfect. Just slide that on through. We'll put this back in here. That was a lot easier than I expected it to be. I expected to have to fiddle with this for quite some time. So let's tighten that down. There we go. There we go. I suppose we could just take the other ones out, but I'm gonna leave them in there for now. There we go. One side down. All right, now that side's done. All right, so that's the saddlebags in there. And now all we gotta do is put the seats back on. So let's get that done. Let's go ahead and get the passenger pillion on. Okay, now let's tighten everything. Oh, so this is sticking out. That's not good. When I tested it, it wasn't sticking out. But I guess when it got pressed down, it wouldn't be a Valorcycle video if something didn't go wrong. I knew this was going way too easily. Okay, so what are our options? Well, we can leave it. Not too crazy about that idea. We can try and fold it back under itself, which might be the best thing to do, because the only other option I can think of is to untie everything again, put it back, let it sag, and then this will sag down a bit, because the bags will eventually start sagging like this, because the front would go down, but the only thing holding up the back is this area. So let's take these off again and try and fold it under itself. So, yeah, it's not really gonna work. Just shift it down more. Because I think what happened was I just moved it down. And so when I tested it, it was something like this. I'm okay with that. Well, let's just try that. I am putting pressure to be able to get the screw threaded. So you may have to push down. Let's check the sides. Yeah, you can kind of tell this one's a little bit longer, but you know what? I might just leave it like that. I mean, it's a universal bag. I can only expect so much. If it was, you know, something that was made for the Scout, I would have different opinions, but for universal stuff, for universal things, you can only expect so much from them. Okay, we'll go with that. And just reinstall the seat. There we go. So here we have installed the LaRosa universal saddlebags. Kind of a, I wouldn't say quick and dirty option, but that was pretty quick, and I think it looks really nice. It goes really well with the stitching of the Corbin, and it really goes well with the black and white. It is hiding the, well, at least the front bolt. That's not too bad. It's probably gonna sit right there. So it's hiding one of them, but hey, from most every angle, unless you're really looking at it from from behind, you can only really notice this one bolt. But hey, I mean, that's pretty good in my opinion. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Well, I guess on this side it actually hides both of them because it's hanging down a little bit more. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Not perfect, but then again, nothing on this bike is perfect. Every single thing that I've done on this bike has not been perfect. So there's always a few little things here and there, but that's what makes it mine. So I'm not too worried about it. All right, everybody, as always, be brave, do good, take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.